Hello everyone. In this video, I have for you a interesting way to move your character around in Path of Exile 2, and if GGG sees this and puts in a good amount of effort on their part, this will become the ultimate way to play the game. So this is called the Maxxstick, which is M-A-X-X stick, and this is not a sponsored video. This is something I chose to do on my own. There are alternatives to this, and like other products that are very similar in design and price point. Then there's even a expensive product that looks like a super futuristic keyboard. You may have seen it, where it's like your whole hand like clicks a bunch of buttons just by moving up, down, and to the side. Then it also has a thumbstick. I think it's called the Azeron, but that's pretty expensive. This ended up being like $55, $60, and it's very good for that price point. And I chose the Maxxstick over, I guess I'll call it, its competitors, because they seem to put in the most effort into improving their product, and also they have a very nice software on their website where you can modify inputs and change different things to improve your experience. So what this does is become your movement. It is just emulating W, A, S, and D. So you only have 8 degrees of movement right now. You can see where if I was pressing W, I'd be going straight up. And then if I pressed W and A, which is just moving to the left a little bit on the thumbstick, it has like very sharp turns. This can become full 360-degree movement if GGG puts in dual input into the game. So that's what they would have to add. I don't know if you can do this with third-party software. I haven't looked because I don't want to add third-party software that GGG detects and bans my account. So I just haven't tried because this is good enough. I mean, everyone's using WASD, so I have no problem doing this. But if they add full 360-degree movement, you will be able to move around as if this was a controller, and you'll be able to open up your inventory and move it around, which, I mean, you're basically doing now, but it's just much smoother. You can change the inputs on the main screen. I can't do it here. You can change this to controller and try it out and see how it feels, and it's like night and day. It feels so good, so I really want them to add this, so this becomes even better. I do see this as a direct improvement to click to move, which I have on here, and WASD, like the traditional just WASD and buttons, other abilities right here. There is an equal to this that I'll talk about at the moment, but that'll change if there's dual input. So with click to move, you have to click one way and aim the other, and it's hard to do like little micro movements while you shoot and move around at the same time. So WASD is I say a small improvement to that. And the reason I say it's small is because you have to put so much on your left hand, and it is a lot of new keybinds to learn if you're only a Path of Exile 1 player. But at the very least, if you have an ability, let's say on F, and you want to move right with D, then you can't. I mean, you're going to have to like stop moving and then like in the direction that you truly want to, which probably isn't the biggest deal, and then just click the ability, but you're doing that a lot, and if you have a lot of abilities on your build like I do, then it very much becomes a problem. So one way to solve it is this, where you put all your movement here, and then all your fingers are free to cast whatever abilities while you move in whatever direction, and I still have roll on my spacebar. The other option would be to have one of those mice that have many buttons on the side and bind all your abilities and flasks to that, which is, I see as a completely equal alternative to this. And then you still use WASD to move around. If you like your thumbstick more, then I guess that's where that's better, but that's just preference. So yeah, this is why I decided to move to this, because I've never used one of those mice before, and technically if you want to upgrade to a mouse like that, it's going to cost more than buying the thumbstick here. So clearly, the controller offers a very similar to experience to what I'm showing here, besides the fact that your inventory exists and manipulating it around and doing things, especially while you play. I'm not saying I'm a speedrunner, but sometimes I like to like open my inventory and like move stuff around while I'm playing the game. I don't know exactly how controller works, but I am 100% sure that controller does not work as well as keyboard and mouse when managing your stash in inventory in any way, shape, or form. It actually looks kind of gross when I watch people play the game with controller and they go into their inventory or their passive tree and do things. I would literally never, but to each their own. And I'm just talking about like inventory stuff. Obviously, in the game sense, the controller is actually probably better than this, depending on how you have your keybinds set up. You probably have to play claw for it to be something similar to this, or have like back buttons on your controller so you don't have to move from your right stick, or bind all your abilities to your triggers more or less to have something in the same sense as this, where you can aim, press abilities, and move all at the same time. If you do all of that, it's basically the exact same experience but better because you have full 360-degree movement. Because aiming on your right stick is the same as mouse. It's not a 3D game, so mouse aiming is no better than right stick aiming on a controller. So setting this up is not too bad. You get, like in the box that this comes in, a 6-foot long USB to USB-C cord. You get the small little lightweight object that is the thumbstick, and then it also comes with a separate little wrist rest that you can put down. The way that I think most people use it is they have their keyboard parallel. Obviously, I have this like strapped down, so I can't move that, but most people have it like parallel with their keyboard, which kind of feels weird to me, and I'd be like angling my wrist anyway to use it. I don't really like that too much. So you can try that out, like with it parallel and everything parallel together, but I keep it all kind of like zigzag set up like this. I keep knocking around my webcam because it's just on a little cardboard box there, but I have it all zigzag like this. This is what's most comfortable for me. You just kind of got to play with it and find what's most comfortable for you. And once you find what's most comfortable, you need to like strap this down somehow. I used silly putty, really just put like a strip of it under there and just squished it down. It is risen up a little bit, but I don't think it really matters. Or you can use a strong double-sided tape, like Gorilla Tape or something, to keep it from moving around when you're moving, because otherwise, if you don't have it parallel with your keyboard, or maybe even if you do, when you start moving certain directions, it'll start sliding from just the push of your thumbstick, which isn't ideal, and you don't really want to rest your wrist on there to stop it, because that just feels awful. So you're gonna have to figure out like how the pragmatics are for yourself and on your desk. Maybe you don't want to strap it down so hard because you do some work on your keyboard. I do all my editing with this still here. PoE 2 is my main game, so I don't really mind just leaving this here. And the only thing that would probably be annoying is if you do your office work on here and you want to bring up your other hand, you don't have your wrist rest here, so maybe you do have to buy another wrist rest or something if you always have to work over this thing if you strap it down. But each person's going to be different. This works perfectly for me as it is now. So this video is really just to show this off and show that this is a possibility. Maybe it's something that you're interested in, maybe not. But I will go over the website and the setup and some of the settings of Maxxstick. I didn't super look at everything, and I've only bought this, so I can't even compare the Maxxstick to its competitors, which I don't even know the name of anymore. But you can do your own research. You obviously should if you're making a purchase. But I did buy this one, the Maxxstick RS3 Pro. The stick is at a better angle, and this is the newer one. I think this still says improved design from like before times when there was something else here, but this is their newest release anyway with their most updated hardware. I think they added new stuff to that, so that's again why I bought from them, because they're always improving their product. So you can buy this, it's $55 US, and then once you get it, you will go to their setup page and read everything here. They have tons of good information, stuff you got to do before you use their software. And what you do, I mean, honestly, you can just plug this in and it will recognize it and connect. At least it did for me. And then you have to have this on basic games to play Path of Exile, because Path of Exile doesn't have the dual input that I've talked about so many times now. But once you have to do basically all the calibration stuff in this advanced setting. And the main thing that you have to change is this forward direction. You kind of want to just put your hand on the stick and then press up, and then maybe like take your hand off and just press down, and see, like, that's what my brain thought down was. You're not going to be able to make it perfect, obviously, because once you set your up or forward direction, everything else is going to be based on that. So you kind of just find what's your most natural forward direction for you, and then go ahead and you'll, like, I could change this to my forward and it'll set it up there. So every time I go over to like the right now, it's so weird. If I go up to the right now, it will make that my forward, but you can see my natural forward feeling is this. So I'll just set it to there. So it's always my forward direction. Now let me change this. Let me explain why I use this as forward in Path of Exile. So basically, if you're using a normal controller, pressing like forward with your thumb is forward, but in Path of Exile, when you have your controller set sideways like this, that would feel really weird because when you pressed right, you would start going up, and it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense, but when you start moving around in a circle, it just breaks my brain. So I set this as my forward. So basically going up is up, left is left, down is down, right is right. It just works way better for me. So maybe try that if you're like really confused on pressing forward and it doesn't make sense for you. Yeah, make sure you're in advanced when you're doing all this, because otherwise it won't recognize it at all. Like I'm pressing it on the basic and it's not showing it. And then to actually play Path of Exile, you have to change it to basic, and you have to set your keybinds. Let me find where I put those. Oh yeah, keyboard. So you have to set the keybinds to your basic setting because it's just pressing like WASD for you, but I want WASD free for other inputs in my game. So what I did is set my, what is this? I, J, K, and L for WASD. You can change it to your arrow buttons, but you don't want to do that in Path of Exile. Let me make sure I have everything correct here. Basic game. Because in Path of Exile, to move your map around, you have to use your arrow keys. I haven't found a keybind to change that, so don't change it to your arrow keys or you won't be able to move around your map like this. So that's why I changed it to I, J, K, and L. So you'll set it to these. You'll see I can change forward to Y, but obviously I'm not doing that. I'm just showing you how to change it. Change forward to I, so set everything back. And we're in basic games, Path of Exile. And then in Path of Exile, you go to your input, change it to WASD, obviously, and then your move up, left, right, and down, you change it to what you changed it to on the Maxxstick software. Now, I'll show you all my keybinds. One good thing about this is if you're a mouse and like a mouse to move player and you don't want to change to WASD because of like the amount of like mental remapping you'll have to do for your abilities, the cool thing is you're just moving your normal mental map from here to here. So it's really no different like abilities wise. Like for the traditional where you put abilities, if you do weird stuff, you did weird stuff. So that's what you get. So we just have our abilities on this bottom row, Z, X, C, V, and B for the like main 5 abilities. I still have some abilities on right click, mouse, and walk. Is everything the same? And then you can even change, it's a lot easier to do like change your second set of abilities here because I just pressed shift. I pressed it too many times. I haven't heard that sound in so long. That scared me. But yeah, so is there anything else here? I don't know what highlighting objects is, honestly, but I could use Alt for something, which is very close to all my keybinds. Still have Enter to chat. For my map, I have Control, so it's very easy to open and close that. Character screen, social screen don't matter too much. The character screen is this. So I have, for these buttons, this is my social. D is my inventory. Get rid of that. F is my skill screen, and then G is my character screen. So it's really easy to just character inventory, gems, skill screen. I still have P as my passive tree. I could probably move that closer so I'm not always reaching across my keyboard. But let's see if there's anything else in here that's super important. Where are we at? Not really. A bunch of stuff I don't have set that I don't use, but you can set them up somewhere. And then, I still have my Atlas tree and Control G. Yeah, so I'll leave all that there for you, but I'm pretty sure that the only thing that's like super relevant is like hide or show the items that are on the ground, because when you're killing a bunch of stuff, there's a ton of stuff on the screen, so you'll just want to hide it, and I use A to hide it, and you can see the names go away when I do that, unless I'm hovering over them. So those are all my keybinds. So I have a little bit of gameplay for you, and while I talk about some odds and ends that I forgot, and I realized as I was recording or editing the video, I know I'm hiding my health and mana, but that's not the point of the video. You can see build videos or streams after today if you want to see that. But when I ordered this, I think they shipped from Canada, I'm pretty sure. So take that into account. It was supposed to take a week, but it took 2 weeks to come in because it was during holiday time, like December. I think I ordered it like probably like December 12th or something, and it came in Christmas Eve. So decently fast for that shipping time, not too bad. And then what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, it only took like a few days to get used to because like I said, I was using click to move. So all my abilities were basically on the same fingers as they are now. I only had to get used to opening my inventory, which I was already trash at anyway. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Oh, one thing, when you're using blink, if you are using WASD and you are holding down WASD, or obviously if you're using this, if you are holding a direction on the thumbstick, it will blink you to that direction. So it seems like you only have 8 directions you can blink in. But if you stop holding your keys or you return your thumbstick to neutral, you can actually blink to wherever your mouse is. So that's a huge tip that I just found out today on my own. It's kind of gigantic and I wish I really realized earlier. But yeah, after I got used to this, which probably took like 3 or 4 days, which wasn't bad at all. Like this feels very comfortable. I don't even realize that I'm using it anymore. And it only felt weird like when I first started using it during the day, and then like an hour later I just was fine. And I have no hand pain from using this. I've used controllers most of my life. I played Melee on GameCube controllers, and I play Rivals 2 now. Like I will play Rivals 2 for like hours and then come play this game with the thumbstick, and I don't feel any problems in my thumb, but I do take care of my wrists and fingers with stretches, and I climb and I do yoga, so a lot of stuff to take care of myself. So take that into account when you use this. It might not be the most comfortable for you if you're not used to controllers. And oh yes, the last thing is this has a button like on it, like as if you were using an Xbox or PS4 controller. You can click it in and it has a button. I don't set it to that because I don't want to like start pushing it up off of the sticky tack that I have down. It is kind of like, I mean, it takes as much force as you think it would to press that button, so it's not very, I don't know how you would do it if you didn't have this strapped down to the desk, but that is something you can do. Maybe I could like move my index finger to hold it in place so I like pinch it, but I don't think I'm going to. Okay, so that is everything that I have to share about this, I'm pretty sure. Leave any comments if you think I'm wrong about the other ways to move in the game, or if you think this won't be the best if GGG puts in dual inputs. Please do this. I really hope they realize that, in my, it's not even an opinion, this will just objectively be the best way to play the game if they put in dual inputs. Subjectively, right now, I think you could pick and prod at like what's better between all this. I like this the best right now, but once this is dual input, it's just game over. I think everyone should just buy one of these if you play Path of Exile 2 as your main game. So yeah, leave any comments if you have questions about this or anything you want to say. Like the video if you enjoyed me showing this off and explaining this to you, because this is what I do. I like to play things optimally, and this is what I see as optimal. And subscribe if you want to see more content like this or the builds that I have. Right now I am showing off my Dark Effigy build, which is kind of funny because it's not optimal, but I'm trying to make the build optimal, you know what I mean? I just like to play what I want to have fun with. So the finished build video for this is coming soon. I'll probably be streaming tonight. I'll leave the hand cam here for tonight, but then I'll move it back to my face. And see you later.